get quite a few emails about the right hand position when picking in different styles. And of course, depending on the kind of effect that you want to achieve, the hand position is slightly different each time. The first choice we need to make when starting to fingerpick, either ragtime blues or the blues, or indeed folk picking, is the first question is, are we going to use fingerpicks or not? And they've got really great advantages, but sometimes they're a little bit too harsh. The first thing is they're a natural amplifier, and we're going to take a look at the styles of several guitar pickers later on in this video, and it's notable that most of them do wear a thumb pick at least. The thumb pick's got a great advantage because, as well as picking in an alternating way, we can also, what I call, we could throw the thumb pick down onto the basses and then damp it, so it can make a very percussive effect, which is sometimes really effective. It is a little bit harsh to hear, particularly if you wear a steel finger pick, so you need a little bit of control, but it does give a really nice clean effect. Many guitarists, as we know, stabilize their hands by putting either one or two fingers on the soundboard of the guitar. Other people hold the palm of their hand on the saddle of the guitar in this way, or a combination of the both. Some guitarists do both at different times, depending on what they're doing with their thumb and their fingers. And it really is a very various technique when we take a close look. First of all, let's look at a grand old master like Reverend Gary Davis in close-up and see how he holds his hand. We can see that the Reverend holds his hand stable with his fingers on the body of the guitar, but they slide around, they're not fixed and locked in position. See how his first finger, the only finger he uses, is very, very nimble and moves around the strings. At the same time, the piece of music is driven along by that very solid bass beat. Johnny Shines was a contemporary of Robert Johnson, and we can get an insight into the style of Johnson by just watching Johnny Shines play. In this next clip, he's going to play Sweet Home Chicago, and you'll see that he uses the thumb pick and that he just uses one finger, which is a very common thing amongst the great master guitarists. The first finger, the one finger they use, is very nimble and it moves around a lot, and if it can't move fast enough, well, they simply help out with their thumb. Watch his finger as it moves around. He'll stabilize his hand with his fingers on the guitar top, but it will move around. And it's a quite light touch. It's not a rock solid anchoring of the hand. Take a look at the guitar technique of Johnny Shines and note the differences and the similarities with a master like Gary Davis. We're still using finger picks, and he also uses just one finger. His touch is really light and he plays high on the fretboard, which gives the guitar a really sweet tone. You can see that he's holding his hand on the top of the guitar, but is not locked onto the guitar. His fingers are sliding around, which gives him a lot of flexibility. Lightning Hopkins, the great Texas guitarist, was another pick wearer, and he used it in a variety of interesting ways. He used a monotonic bass most of the time, but of course he could use that pick to strum down on the treble strings or double the beat on the basses. It was really mobile. It could move over the bass strings and the treble strings and alternate between the two as he sees fit. You'll notice Lightning Hopkins also uses the full range of the neck to strum, so maybe he'll strum higher at the neck to get a really nice melodious effect, or he'll come down here and then damp to give a nice percussive bluesy effect. So he uses the full range of the guitar and many movements with his hands. Sometimes he'll use the pick simply as a plectrum, and sometimes he'll just pick with his finger. His technique is very, very varied. Take a look.
Now baby, please don't go. Now baby, please don't go back to New Orleans. You know I love you so, baby, please. I'll be a man and gone. I'll be a man and gone. He left the county for me, had his shackles on. Now baby, please.
The next master we're going to take a look at is Doc Watson. His song Deep River Blues is a masterpiece of one finger and thumb syncopation. The thumb really jumps all over the place and his forefinger is very, very fast. Here again, a master guitarist just using one finger and again wearing finger picks. Take it away, Doc.
Let it rain, let it pour, let it rain a whole lot more, 'cause I got them deep river blues. Let that old river rise and fall, let the big waves make a wall, 'cause I got them deep river blues.
As we watch Doc play with just one finger and a thumb, with that incredible syncopation, we have to remind ourselves that most of us can't play in this way, but at least we can appreciate his genius. At least we can try and get the same kind of feel, the same kind of easy bouncy rhythm. Notice that Doc also holds his fingers lightly on the guitar top to anchor his hand, but not to lock it in position. Of course, when we move into ragtime blues, we tend to use two fingers because of the syncopation and the triplets and the extra complexity that we need. A guitarist like Blind Blake obviously used two fingers, and also a great bluesman, Mississippi John Hurt, and we'll take a look at his style next. You can see that John Hurt's little finger is firmly anchored to the soundboard, while his two fingers pick, which is really an interesting style. It's not possible for me to do this because my two fingers seem to be linked to that little finger, so it's constantly moving. So his fingers were really flexible and really independent of the rest of his hand.
You know, I really wrote the first thing I know was John Henry's house.
Whenever we talk about a particular style or a picking pattern, we have to realise that there are many, many exceptions, and it's the exceptions that generally make a legend, as in this case with Son House. When we look at Son House's technique, we can see that he doesn't anchor his hand at all, and he plays it as he feels it, and he doesn't play gently. He really hits that guitar.
He coming on, good morning. How do you reckon it red? It's a hurry, 'cause the gal you love is dead.
To appreciate the ultimate in guitar picking, we need to take a look at the style of someone like Tommy Emmanuel, who can really pick in any style that he pleases. He uses a thumb pick and bare fingers. He may use one finger or two fingers. Very often he'll use a plectrum, the thumb pick as a plectrum, and just play very, very fast single string runs in that way. He'll hit the guitar, he'll strike it hard, he'll damp it, many, many techniques, all very quickly executed. A really amazing guitarist. Let's see. I was going to perform that last riff for you, but I don't feel like it today. As you can see from this short video, there are many ways to hold your right hand when you pick, depending on the style you want to play. Now, if you want to try and copy the old bluesmen, then it makes sense to use the same style, the same technique that they used, and that's our challenge, to try and use the same techniques but make the music a little bit ours. We need to know exactly what the bluesmen did, and then we can adapt it to put ourselves into the music. Have fun with it, and the bottom line is, whatever you're comfortable with is the right way to hold your hand.